RC lovers, welcome to Buzz Buggy's RC heads. Right, so where do we start with this one? I wouldn't have an RC channel, would I, if I did not do a how to tune a Nitro engine video. I've just got to, haven't I? So this is my version of it. There's no worse than getting out and about and not really knowing what you're doing. You've maybe just got your first Nitro car or something. You get out and this device won't tune in or whatever, and you get a bit stuck and you end up coming home and you don't even get a session. You know, it's a bit annoying, isn't it? Trust me, I've been there. So I just want to help. This is my version of how I do things, just where to start. If you've bought a second-hand one or even brand new. We're going to talk about in this video how the fuel and air mixture gets into the engine, how to get tuning a carb, where to start, and then what to do when you're out and about. We're going to go out and about soon so I can show you this in action. It's sort of simple once you get your head around it, but a bit fiddly, if you know what I mean. It takes time, but you get there in the end. So this is a Nitro engine, obviously, and the carburetor sits here, and then you've got an intake down here. So we've got these components. Of course, the easiest thing to do to tune one of these is just to go like so, and you know, something like this helps you out quite a lot. Right, what's actually going on? How does the fuel air mixture get into the engine? So the carb sits on the top there. Get the camera on this, focusing. This is a crankshaft here. Right, piston connects to a rod down there, and then it goes up and down in the cylinder, combustion chamber, and then you'd have a head on top with the glow plug in, yeah? So down here, if we look down in here, as it rotates, you've got a hollow, and then it shuts solid. You're seeing that? Hollow, close, open, close. So that's sort of like the timing of the engine as such. It's rotating, it's picking up. Fuel air mixture's forced through the back here into the combustion chamber. The piston picks it up, rises up, compresses the fuel air mix. The glow's obviously glowing away. It ignites, forces the piston back down, and in turn rotates the engine. So that's how it gets in there. But it has to breathe right, an engine. So it's not. I see a lot of people where like they get a new RC and they go on Google and they'll be like HPI Savage carb settings. No, that doesn't really work like that. Like an engine's an engine. Yeah, you have different bore sizes and stuff. So the mixture will be different, and it'll also be different if it's a cold day or a hot day. You know, the weather has a bit of a, you know, something to do with it as well. But it's not really the engine so much. It's how this is tuned. It's how you get the engine breathing. So this is the piece that we're going to look at next. And where do you start with one of these? I'm certainly no professional or anything at this, but I learned to do it my little way. So, right, to start off, let's try and keep this as simple as possible here. Right, so we're all in the same sort of place, so we can all start the same. I'm going to put, this is the high-speed needle, which this affects the fuel air mixture at the higher rev range. So basically, what we're going to do at the minute with this is just do it flush with the lip of this brass part. Okay. So with this needle, all we're going to do, literally, when you are turning it, it's tiny little adjustments. So you literally, come on, camera. A bit, yeah, it's trying to focus on my thumb or something. Tiny little turns. Back or forward. What we want to start off with, we want a rich mixture, which means loads of fuel going in at first. That's what we want. That's how, when you buy it brand new, it'll be set in factory at a rich mixture, because that's for running in. So that's where you'd start anyway if you got one brand new. So let's flush that one. That's the high speed needle. So clockwise is less fuel, anti-clockwise is more fuel. So anti-clockwise rich, and then clockwise is lean. So we're going to flush off. This is the low speed needles. It's the same again. So clockwise lean, anti-clockwise richen, and we're going to just flush it off with the ball collar here. just with that lip again. So they're both flush. Now we need to look down in here at the throttle gap, carb gap, or idle gap. And I don't know if we can quite get the lighting on. So as the throttle opens and closes, you'll see a gap. So I'm just going to widen that gap so you can see it. This is the tick over screw. This is what we're going to use at first to set this gap. So I'm going to wind it in clockwise. There we go. And you see the light now coming through. You see that gap? That's the carb gap. So at the moment that's way too big. You want to set that somewhere in between. You should use a feeler gauge really, but just for now, just for this video, and that, you can just do it with your eyes, just anything just below 1 millimeter. So you sort of just get that anyway, just get a very thin blade and just feel, or feeler gauge really you want. It should be like 0.5 really, but just for the video I'm going to do it to about 1 mil. So once we've set that, what I'm going to actually get a buggy out soon anyway and show you this properly. Well, it's better to do like with this off in it, but that's your carb gap. So the next thing, once we set that to 1 mil, the next thing, when we're out and about, so we're going to try and get the buggy running. If it won't run, we're going to start like basically leaning up the low end needle, and we're looking for an idle. We want a trigger. This is affecting the low range. So this is the initial set off up to about 1/4 of the way through the throttle, or maybe up to the mid range. So this is affecting the fuel air mix at the lower range. So this is your initial set off, and we're going to get an idle off that. And then you start to tune the high end. As you tune these up, more lean, the revs will increase. So then what we're going to do is, of course, is lower the idle gap. I think the best thing to do now is to actually get out and about and show you this in practice. So I think you'll get it better. But that's the basics. And then we're going to go out and start to tune. So we're just going to start leaning up. We're going to get an idle. And then we're going to start getting some more speed out of it with the high end needle after we've got a nice sort of low end going. So there's a little bit of fiddling about. Can take about 20 minutes. But right, let's get on about and see what we can do. I forgot to mention this one. This is the mid-range. Don't touch this. Just don't touch it. You don't have to do it. It should be really flush, totally flush again. They're normally in line with the high-speed needle. I have seen some of them that are just slightly off a little bit, but don't touch that mid-range. Right, RC heads, we is out and about. That's my carb gap, which I've set on the tick over screw. So now what we've got to do is adjust the low end. We've got to find that sweet spot so we get a nice idle. This is good advice always. Make sure your battery packs and everything are charged up, your glow starters. This is on a rotary start. And make sure, so controller on first, car on. Make sure that your throttle is closed before you start it. This is shut. I've seen people start them and they run off. It's quite entertaining actually. But so we're gonna try and start it, but we won't have an idle yet because we're going to be way too rich. Okay, but we're just going to try and start it. If we have to, use the throttle trim on your controller just to give it a couple of revs. We just want to try and warm the engine up at the moment. So that's awfully rich. That's what's happening there. I tried giving it some throttle and it's just flooding with fuel. So I'm doing the throttle on the trim on the controller and it's just flooding, so you're just going to get no idle at all. But we need to just try and warm the engine up a little bit first. Right, so where it's struggling there, so if you want to pull start and it starts jamming up like that, or you know, rotor is jamming, it's way too much fuel in the head, it's flooding, and that's bad. You'll damage the glow plug. I haven't got a spanner with me either. I haven't bought a spanner tool, silly me, so I can't remove that. But if you do that, that's really bad. So we're going to have to start now adjusting that low end screw and try and find a sweeter spot to get an idle out of this buggy. At this moment in time, I would not be too shy of this needle, so I was on about little tiny turns before. What we're going to do is, we're going to do a half, a full half. Okay, and then we're going to try and restart the buggy. Same again, a little bit of throttle if you have to on the controller, not too much though. So we've done half a turn on the low end, and we're just going to try and restart. And still no idle. Try and restart again. We're just flooded out with fuel at the moment. As you can see, it's easier to start now. The rotary tool is rotary starts managing to rotate the engine. So we're getting a little bit better, but I can tell you already, way too rich on that low end. So another full half, not full, a half turn on that low end again. So we know it's loading up with loads of fuel, so we can do bigger turns because with a flush setting, very, very rich. So I'm going to do another half turn on that low end, and then just try and restart again. I'm still trying to get an idle so we can just warm the engine up at the moment. So let's just do that, and then we'll go into the little tiny turns for the finer tune at the end. I think the wind's blowing the camera a bit, isn't it? Sorry about that, but right, so another half turn in, and I'm going to try and get the idle. A little bit better now. It's still loading up, so we know we're still rich at this point. That's why it's stalling, okay? So we'll probably get away with another half turn on that low end. We know our throttle gap's good. We know we've got a throttle gap of 1 mil, so we know that's all right, and we're using the controller, aren't we, just to slightly adjust that to get the thing started. Okay, so we're going to do another half a turn on that low end. All right, there's another half a turn on the low end. We're going big increments at the minute, and then we'll do finer little tunes, but we should be getting close. We'll try again. Trying a little bit of revs on the controller. It's just opening the throttle gap slightly. Oh, getting close, it is RC head. I can tell. A little bit more revs. It's got a bit of fuel in that head now, so I'm just going to try and clear it out. Little bursts on the, if it's a pulley, just little bursts like that, or on the rotary, just little blasts. Warm up a little bit. So what's that, 3 half turns on the low end that we're now getting idle. The fuel spitting out, still very rich. We know that, we know we're alright. Never run it too lean, I'll show you the lean soon. We'll time lapse this bit. Right, so we found an idle. I cut out what I did at the end. I starved it of fuel by just crimping the pipe, squeezing it, and that's cut the fuel off and the revs increase. But I did that in 2 times speed, so just to get it out of the way. The video is going to end up long, but basically what happened is as it starves the fuel, the revs increase, and that's what we've done with the low end to get that idle. So now we've got idle, we can take it for a little rip and we'll start fine tuning. So now we're doing tiny little turns, little like 1 minute turns, 5 minute turns. While we're at it, do you like me body shell I painted? Cutting job wasn't great, but It's alright, isn't it? I haven't mentioned in this video either about your end points. These are your end points. It's how much the throttle's opening when you're doing the trigger. But we're just on about tuning today, aren't we? That wind is blowing the camera a bit, isn't it? Basically, so at the minute all we've done is wound in that low end screw. Is it 3 half turns or 4 half turns in it? So now we've found idle. We've done nothing to the higher end screw, high speed. So we're gonna start it up again, and now we're gonna hopefully get a little bit of trigger and be able to take it for a little razz and then see where we're at. Still rich, loads of smoke at that low end, look, when you first trigger it. Very rich on the low end still. But it's running. Not hesitating or anything, so when it hesitates, it's meow 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 like that. That's when it's too lean, you've gone too far. So you're giving it too less fuel, that'll damage the engine. The tick over's a little bit high, so as you adjust the low end up, just lower your idle screw your tick over down to compensate. This is running alright now, to be fair. Like I say, just slightly high on the tick over, so we'd reduce the idle gap. A little bit of a double idle there, dips a bit, look. See what it's like off the... See, nice acceleration, flicks stones at us. Cocking its little back wheel there, it's having the time of its life. To be fair, that's pretty much set up. This is what I mean, you can get out now, look, and we're playing. Fine as it is. There you go. I don't really need to do any more, do I? Just all I've done is just the low end. It's that easy. It's that simple, RC heads. We haven't even done any fine tuning, we've literally just done half turns. It's, I don't know, you can count, but you get the gist of it, don't you? I hope that helps you loads, honestly, because I used to struggle just getting them going like this. A nice bit of blue smoke, no hesitations, still flooding a little bit with fuel, but that's good, lubricates the engine, keeps it cool. Just the high end a little bit, just to see if we can get some little bit more speed. Is it going to idle? Tiny little turn. Tiny little turn on the high end. No reverse, have I? Right, 1 sec, I want to show you something. Let's run it too lean. Done a half a turn on the high end, big turn. That's too lean, not enough fuel. That. Watch. I wind it back half a turn, high speed needle, half a turn back now, because that's the higher end, watch, and it'll stop doing that. See? Smoke's good. A little bit. You just wind it out, a tiny little turn. A little bit more. That should be tuned. smidge on the low end a little bit. Just a tad. Smidge on the low end. There you go. Thanks for watching, I hope it helps. We'll see you on the next one.